Beautiful experience, this once in a lifetime moment for us to all come together. I'm going to turn my camera on. I hope y'all can see me. Yes. We'll see. Show my self view. I sometimes hide my self view. Hi, everyone. It's so nice to see. Oh, smiles. Everybody's smiling. Yeah, we're going to have such a good night. I feel so good. I feel so ready to open up this space with you all. And I love that you're turning your cameras on. It makes me feel connected to you and allows me to really anchor in my heart to yours and be able to offer a transmission that's not so much rooted in distraction and observance, but rather than, being here, right? Really feeling that connection. So I want to say welcome to all of you guys. It's such an honor to be here to hold this 2 hour journey that we are going to go on. My intention tonight for myself is to be myself, to just be here with you and to share the codes of what is alive for me as a facilitator. I don't know if many of you can relate, but I spent a long time here, you know, the here, what should I say? What are they thinking? Is this right? Does that make sense? Am I doing a good job? And is this okay? And now, after facilitating and holding space for many different styles, in many different forms, I like to just be a little bit of a hollow bone. Like, let me just be here. Let's just see what's alive. Let's just work the field. So to have you all on camera just feels so incredible to be able to welcome you all here. So welcome to this little safe space that we are going to create. I see some new faces here, which is really exciting, and some familiar sisters as well. Some of you have worked with me in person. Some of you have been in mentorship with me. Some of you are in courses and programs. If this is your first time in a live space with me, may I just ask that you let me know? If you can just say first time, like, I'm not going to call on you and make you shout out and say hello. I want to honor your privacy, but first timers, wow. Oh my gosh. So Kendra, Kathy, Alexandra, Marja, Luna, Ananda, Bozena, Claudia. Wow, this is so beautiful. Well, welcome. My name is Lauren. Hi. I think you figured that out already. But yeah, so a little bit about me just to, kind of welcome you into this space. I've been an entrepreneur, as many of you probably know, since 2015. I went through some really deep traumatic experiences in my life and took this very big shift in my awakening to share my stories on the internet with a blog. I really wanted to just invite everybody to say, there is nothing to be ashamed of about yourself. Simultaneously, I was learning to do that on my own, you know? So in real time, I entered into the entrepreneurial path with this study of vulnerability, like the study of it. I don't really like to say, and look at me, look how vulnerable I am. If you have to say it, there's something going on. But for me, like really learning, like, how do I express what I've been through from a place of empowerment? And how do I talk about things that my family might not want me to talk about? And how do I lead people when I'm still working on myself? And what does that even look like? In 10 years, I have had so many returns to those questions. And some might have a thought that says, well, I thought I healed this already. I thought I was over this by now. Why is this still coming back up? And what I have learned in my journey of entrepreneurship, which is a spiritual game, my friends. Entrepreneurship is a spiritual game. What I have learned in this process is that the returning of that point over and over and oh, here I am again. I feel like a fraud. I feel like an imposter. I feel like I am not good enough. The returning of those over and over again is because there was a deepening of the opposite truth. And I really want you to think about that in your life, because so often, this is kind of the first thing I would like to deprogram for us all here. The thing so often we do is we judge the shadow insecurity thought, and the shadow insecurity thought can cause us to stop, to freeze, to say, well, maybe not yet. Maybe I'm not ready for this. Maybe this isn't the right time. Maybe I need to work on myself a little bit more before I do stuff like this. But embodiment is an ever unfolding journey. It is always moving. It is always cycling. Your expansion is cyclical. It's not a linear climax to an arrival of peace. It is a cyclical nature of bringing back up things to return to them in a deeper, more embodied way. And so I say that to invite you all to be wherever you are in that cycle, to allow yourself to say, where I am right now, while I want to change it, while I'd like to do something different, while I'd like to maybe have a different experience, because this is hard. Also, wherever you are is actually exactly where you are supposed to be right now, because there's some medicine here. There's something for you. And my job today is to discover with you in this co-creative experience, what is here for you to discover? Like, what is right here and now for you? I understand we want to go places and we want to do things and we want to stretch, but embodiment is a grounded frequency. It's here. It's in this moment. So what is alive for you here and now? And can you embrace that with a sense of curiosity, with a sense of compassion, with a sense of grace and gentleness and inner thought that actually nurtures what you want to have grow? You understand? Yeah. So I titled this beautiful journey that we're going on tonight, The Embodied Spiritual Leader, and my ego immediately went, oh my God, what am I doing? Why am I titling this? Oh, geez Louise, what's happening? I could feel it, because it's such a, there's a side of that that's really, ugh. I know we've all seen it. we've all seen it. I like to play in it a little bit, I like to feel, I'm just doing some logistics while we're here. I like to feel that dress up. I dressed up for you guys tonight. I was like, I want to offer my best self. We all like to play in the magic of spirituality and, burn our sage and our feathers and have a beautiful, enriching experience of magic. But there is also in the online space, as you may have experienced yourself, a very smoke and mirrors approach to that. And we see these people who are very foo-foo, fairy, magical, whimsical nature. Oh my gosh, wow, I want to be that. That's cool, But really, there's a reality to what we're moving through here, right? We're having a human experience also. And I want to presence, right now I'm just presencing the things I want to have you guys be aware of before we really open up this space. But spirituality is not the clothes you wear or how many ayahuasca ceremonies you do or how much sound bath or crystal bowls you have in your house, right? Spirituality is a way of life. Ram Dass always said, you think you're spiritual, go spend a weekend with your family. There's a human component, right, to our life that needs to be acknowledged and recognized. And oftentimes these two parts of us create this kind of conflict, right? There's a conflicting energy. Sometimes we feel it in our relationships where we really just want to be in our spiritual essence and we want to be that wild goddess. But what is my husband going to think? My kids are going to think I'm batshit. They're going to think, mama's having a midlife crisis. What's going on over here? Right? And sometimes it's the conflict is I'm really spiritual, but I have to make social media work to market myself. But all of that feels really heavy and dense and foggy, and I feel like I'm performing, and how do I do it, right? We feel these kind of contrasting frequencies from human to spirit. And I think that tonight we kind of bridge all that. Let's bridge it all. I see you guys nodding your heads. I love it. So, yes, I have a spiritual background. I have an entrepreneurial background. And if you don't know, there's a beautiful prophecy around this called the eagle condor. If you have never heard of this, the many, many, many traditions, indigenous always talk about the eagle and the condor. The eagle and the condor unite in sacred flight. It's a song my teacher sings. And the story is that the eagle and the condor, these birds in the sky, they once flew together. And through devastation, through trauma, through war, they separated. And what we can symbolically see that as often is earth and technology. And there's this big separation from those two frequencies. And now we are learning how to unite in sacred flight with those two things, right? All of you guys here have gifts. All of you have a purpose. All of you have a reason, that there's been something pulling you, that curiosity, that longing, that interest, that what I gotta do something. I gotta express myself. I have to be a voice. That's on purpose. That feeling is on purpose. And it's your purpose. And if we can bring ourselves to this place where we can remember that we are here to claim that, to bring that into life, to birth that, whatever that is for you. You may not even know what it is right now. You may be thinking to yourself, I have gifts, but I don't know what to do with these things, right? I don't know. You may feel like you have 72 different gifts and you're like, how do I package all of this? This doesn't make sense how I fit it all together. That has been my work in supporting entrepreneurs for the last 10 years. Those questions, everything we've talked about, right? So throughout this study, what I like to do when I'm building a new offering is create a free experience. So as many of you guys know, I am closing doors to the Mirror Mentorship, which is starting on the 29th. Our orientation is on the 29th. And the Mirror Mentorship is this 6-month immersion that I'm doing with a group of 20 women to support them in all of this. And what I like to do is take some of that medicine as a gift and offer it to you guys freely. So that is what this is, right? This is that opportunity to get a taste of the nutrients that our soul and our spirit and our bodies really need in order to feel like what we want is possible, like what we want is our birthright, like what we want won't require us to sacrifice our values, our interests, our passions, who we are, our freedom. And we as women play an incredibly big role in that path. We as women do something so different. We express in such a unique way. We feel in oceans of emotion, right? We feel all of the elements in our bodies. And the fact that we have a voice to do something about what we are feeling and express what we are feeling and offer that as medicine to the world, that's power. That's true power. So leadership is many different things to many different people, and some of us are deeply afraid to be leaders because of the consequences. I know I have felt that way. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to be responsible for someone on such a deep level. I don't want to lead because I got too much shit on my plate already. How am I going to do this other thing, right? Like, I'm leading enough. Can you? Like, that would be great. You know, we have those feelings. But I have come to realize that maybe that's because we're looking at leadership entirely wrong. We're looking at it from a patriarchal understanding, a structure of masculine. Leadership is command. Leadership is effort. Leadership is production. Leadership is assignment. And action and conquer. I don't know about you, but that shit does not resonate with me at all, right? At all. So what is leadership, right? Like, and how do we feel that in our bodies, and how do we turn that on in a way where we walk into a room and we don't worry about what anybody thinks of us, and we speak and we don't overanalyze our thoughts, and we feel our emotions and we express them as they are without apologizing? What would that look like, right? Leading others, to me as a leader, is showing up, leading yourself. That's it. Like, do you all see this version of yourself? I'm curious. Maybe you can nod or raise your hand or put yes in the comments. Do you all see a version of yourself when you close your eyes and you think about like where you're headed, what you're creating? Like, no limits, no strings, no, well, what if it doesn't work out? None of those thoughts. Let's put those in a box, right? A loving little box. But when you close your eyes and you really visualize like the dream on your heart coming into the 3D world in some way, and you see that happening, and you notice how it makes you feel. But when you observe it, what is that woman experiencing those things like? Like, what does she feel like? How does she carry herself? Are her shoulders up? Are they back? She's open. She's free in her energy. Like, we can see that. We're aware of that, yes? So if she exists here, when we reflect and we connect to our bodies and we close our eyes in our mind and we see this version of us, she's confident, she's grounded, she's in her own skin. You know, what else did you guys see? I'm curious. Maybe you can share in the chat. Like, what do you see about her? I remember when I did this exercise for the first time, I had really, really short hair and she had really, really long hair. You know, I was like, oh, it's interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah, what do you know about her? Like, she dances and she enjoys her freedom. Yeah, so she's liberated, right? It's a liberation energy. Faith says that the version of her that she sees is peaceful, aligned, and with light. Just deep joy and gratitude that she did it, looking around her happy, family, fulfilled, right? This feeling of true fulfillment. What if I see different versions of myself? Yes, both. Yes, all of it. Yes. She feels safe in her body and she's anchored into herself. That version of you, you know, when I talk about this in my line of work in facilitation, we can often refer to her as the higher self, right? That's what we align with. That's how we describe her. She's kind of your like your little clue giver. Like, she's up there, you know. I'm not going to tell you everything. Like, you're speaking on stage but you have no idea what you're talking about, but you're there, you know. You're like, shit, like, can you just tell me now? You know, like, that's what happens. That's how she is. That's she's kind of like, I don't know, my girl's a little bit like sassy, you know, and we can feel that if we actually spend time connecting to her. But she gives you just as much as you need to know right now. And with all of these things that you guys are sharing and saying, when I look at them and I really connect into them, like Kathy, it's so beautiful. She said, that girl is happy and joyful. Fuck yeah, she is. That's great. Like, heck, awesome. So if she is happy and joyful, how do you work for her? How do you lead to meet her, right? Because if we can say, wow, she's like really happy, she's really joyful. Where am I now? Is that on? Hello? Where are you? Right? Like, is she on? Is that, can I bring her here? Can I actually practice bringing that energy into my body and creating a life that sets the standard for that frequency? That's leadership. That's also magnetism. That's also embodiment. That's just life. It's like how we create as beings. We have this beautiful ability to turn on and magnetize to. And what I really feel is a disempowering approach to manifestation is being up here, like the great works of all of those amazing men that we followed who talked about manifestation and thinking and the power of the mind. Yeah. And I think we can all relate to times where our mind was feeling so powerful that it was like killing us in some way, right? We've had those thoughts where we're just like, oh my gosh, I feel insecure. I feel overwhelmed. I feel worried. I feel stressed. I'm looping on a thing my husband did 5 days ago. I can't get it out of my head. So this truth that I would like to share with you, like the mind is a tool. Either it has you or you have it. And when it has you, it's overwhelming your life. It's taking over your world. I have seen this many, many, many times when students come into any type of mentorship with me and I get to unpack with them deeply on a personal level. I can feel the neurosis that Ram Dass likes to call it, neurosis of the mind, where we're neurotically thinking about things over and over and over again. Do you guys know the reason we do that? We do that because we're not in our bodies. That's all. It's that simple. So what can happen for a lot of us, and this is a really important study in embodiment. Who here is a facilitator of some capacity? Can I see just a show of hands? Like you coach, you mentor, you hold space, you lead other women. Yes. Okay. Beautiful. So you are constantly dealing is not the right word. Let me find the right word. You are constantly receiving experiences with other people's energy all the time. All the time. Even if you are not working on a personal level with people, you're a human. So you're constantly interacting with people on a regular basis. And you're also interacting with things. You're interacting with money. How does money make you feel? Right? How does this, I bought this bookshelf. How does it make me feel? Right? How does this food I'm eating make me feel? Right? Like we're constantly looking around our world and unconsciously and going, how does that make me feel? How does that make me feel? How does that make me feel? That's a body feeling. It's not a thought. Right? How do you feel about money? How do you feel about money? I'm curious. How does that... Yeah. Yeah, well, we give it a lot of power. We give it a lot of power over us. And we can hold a war for a while until we fall. And that battle, being able to say, I'm kind of done with this. I'm going to step out of this equation. That's liberation. It's not a bunch of money. It's being able to step out of that dynamic. We can circle back to that a little bit later on in our study when we kind of bridge the gap. But what I was describing and how we relate to so much in our life, like all these different things we're relating to constantly, they're all making us feel a certain way in our body. And what can end up happening is that through all this interaction, through all this experience, we don't really know what we are feeling because our bodies really get hijacked. We are feeling and experiencing stressful things from other people when we are touching them, working on them, interacting with them, talking to them. You ever go to the grocery store and the man at the counter is like kind of being a jerk and you walk away like mad, you know? I had this experience. This is a cute story. It's coming up. My husband and I went to brunch at this very beautiful place and we don't eat out very often. So it was very special. And I picked my meal and he picked his and we were waiting and the waiter comes and it was a different waiter than the one that took our order and puts our meals down. And it's 2 of what my husband ordered. My order wasn't there. And so I said, okay, I'm just going to eat this. Like, this looks great. I'll just, whatever, enjoy this. And when the actual waiter who came over to take our order, um, she asked, how is everything? I said, well, this isn't what I ordered, but it's so great. And she goes, really? Are you sure? And that did something to me. That did something. I was looping on it, because part of what I wanted to say was, that question makes me uncomfortable, like, do I know what I ordered? Like that's making my body uncomfortable right now because why? Why? I feel a little bit gaslit, I feel like a little like, I know my truth, and what does that represent in my life from my history? It's not about the waiter. It's not, the waiter's nothing. She's just a little shamanic medicine woman. We call this sometimes heyokas. This is heyoka medicine where somebody's healing you, but like you don't fucking want it. Like this is, it's kind of like a weird certain situations bring up my shadows. Like my words are not respected. I want to say something, but I don't want to be rude back to her, right? So let me just be polite. So my body did this whole thing. And rather than honoring the body and allowing something to advocate for it, I did nothing and spent the rest of the next 2 days in my mind, right? Who here can relate to this in some capacity, right? So the thing about embodied leadership that's so important, and it's why when I look at entrepreneurs who are not creating the success that they really want to create, the reason that that's happening, like you're not expanding to your wealth, you're not expanding to what you want to open into. Is it because I don't know what to do? I don't know the steps to take? No, that's a symptom. What's causing that? Is it because I'm, like feeling like I'm not ready? No, that's a symptom. What's causing that? Is it because I don't have enough time? No. I'm posting every day and nothing's happening. Is it just because I suck? No. These things that are contracting your experience and not allowing you to open, they are because our bodies are not as cultivated as we really need them to be. That's it. It's that simple. If you are walking around your life with waves of anxiety, stress, and overwhelm, you are not going to allow your body to open. If we can use birth as an analogy, I have never birthed a child, but there are a lot of things I have heard from my beautiful friends about the power of your breath and the power of relaxing and surrendering and being present. And unfortunately, the world of social media and the world of technology and the world of 2026 makes that very, very hard. It makes it very hard to feel present, to feel grounded, to feel connected to your own body. And then you couple that with the fact that we do have a fear of being hurt. We do have a fear of doing it wrong. We do have a fear of not getting it right. And I bring that up because it's a cyclical thing. It's a cyclical thing. It's not something you arrive at fixing and go, oh, here I am. Money, 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 money. Leadership, amazing. Life is great. That's so far from the truth. The truth is that we're always studying and learning how to expand our capacity in new ways because we're always birthing a new version of ourselves to bring us closer to that version that we see up here. Is this making sense? Is this clear? Yeah. So, as I say all of that, I would love to know how you are feeling about this conversation that we are beginning to weave a little bit deeper into. How does everybody feel about what we're starting to open up? Luna says she feels validated, reassurance, amazing, beautiful, amazing. It's allowing me to feel seen. Yeah, Very powerful. Yes. There's a lack of water bottle up here, I'm realizing. I was going to say something, but let me just ask my husband. Hey, Matt, can you get my water bottle for me? It's on the counter downstairs. Thank you. Okay. All right. So, where I was with this conversation before I realized how parched I was. Very validated and very seen. I think that's what we all really want anyway. Thank you. So the trick is to really ask a question like, are you fully seeing yourself? What's your honest opinion of that right now? Like if you check into your body and you're aware of like everything we just talked about resonates, you feel it, you know. Okay. Are you Yeah, Luann says no. Not fully acknowledging my greatness. Yeah, I'm starting to create more rituals to connect. Beautiful. Yeah, it's so incredible. Anything that you want outside of yourself is always just showing you your perception of you. Anything you ever want outside of yourself is always just showing you your perception of you. I like that. I can see Pia really thinking about that one. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I love it. Part of my job, I always like to tell people this. You take what works and leave the rest. You know, there are a lot of unhealthy styles of facilitation out there where you feel like you have to believe everything everybody says to you because you paid them, and even in free spaces, like they have what I want. So they must be true. No, I'm gonna say a ton of shit. You're like, I don't get it. And then you'll come back to it maybe 3 years later and you'll go, whoa, that thing, you know? So it's cool. But to honor Pia's moment where she was really thinking about that, you know, if I'm sitting here and I'm like, what do I really want right now? Okay, let's go tangible. Do you guys know what you really want right now, tangible? Like you want a house? You want diamonds? you want you want to buy a retreat center? What do you want? Yeah, like what is it? Let's have fun. Dream it. Tell me. We'll go tangible first. Come on, we could do it. We can claim our desires. We want money. Yeah, well, yes. My manifestation this year is a beach house. Beautiful. Travel everywhere. Finishing my book, new bedroom makeover, become a world traveler. Okay, amazing. So, this physical thing that you want, that's so beautiful. Let's kind of do the same metaphor analogy of study that we did previously with our higher self, right? So let's visualize that beach house. Let's visualize the money. Let's visualize I'm a world traveler, like I'm finally doing that thing I wanted to do. Yeah, whatever it may be, I'm in the new bedroom. Oh my gosh, like this is so amazing. It's so beautiful. Yeah. Whatever it is, just take a minute with it. See it as if it is already happened. You walk into the room, or you can see yourself and your feet like looking out in the world, like however it comes up for you. Just imagine it as if it has already happened. And notice how that makes you feel in your body. Can you name that emotion that it gives you? Maybe there's a few emotions coming through. When you have that emotion, you can open your eyes and you can write that emotion down inside of our chat. Yeah. amazing, relaxed, happy, excitement. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Yeah, beautiful. Fulfilled, joy, peaceful, abundant. Whatever that word is for you, it's an emotional cue and it's also a code. And so, whatever you long for outside of yourself is actually a teacher for you because it's just like the higher self. There's evidence, there's information, there's aspects of that that you need to know right now. So, if you visualize yourself in a beach house and you're like, whoa, that life, like I feel like I am so peaceful. I feel like I can imagine myself walking on the beach every morning and just feeling so much calmness. You know what that tells me? You want to cultivate calmness in your life right now. That's who you are becoming, a calm person, a peaceful person. If you don't understand that now, you will experience the greatest pains in your life, which are getting what you want and not feeling what you wanted to feel. The work is actually within. So it's really very important that we understand this because just like the big higher thing that we want, just like the big higher version of ourselves, that's just all showing us what is really inviting in now. And also how you treat those things is also clues to what you should or could be working on in your life. You know, if you feel that beach house or you feel, let's use another example because I don't want Pia to feel like I'm picking on her over here. So we'll pick another one just to keep y'all super balanced and open. Um, there was a land and a home. Dina says, I want a land and I want a home. Yeah, so like why do you want that? Like what does that mean to you? And the part of like your being and your leadership that needs to be turned on to create that. Let's really think about it. If Dina spends her time now going, that's never going to happen, and she loops in that thought and she feels that thought and she allows that feeling to be in her body all the time. I guess my dreams don't happen. I guess this isn't meant for me. No matter how hard I work, I never have what I want, right? Your thing is bringing up your shadow to allow you an opportunity to learn something so that you actually get it. It's trying to be your teacher right now. Like it's actually alive. It's actually here, right? So when we see that thing and Dawn says, I want to write a book, and we have this big vision. We're like, okay, I'm going to write a book. This is going to be so amazing. But Dawn has been wanting to write a book for 7 years and hasn't actually sitting down to write the pages. And I'm making this up because I don't know Dawn, but let's just say I kind of know her myself. We'll just leave it at that. But, you know, Dawn really wants to write this book. And for many years, there hasn't been a pursuit of that. And Dawn sits there and says, well, I guess I just, I don't have stick with itness. Like, I just don't stick to anything. Here it is again, another example. I said I was going to do this thing. Here I am falling off the course. Here I am disappointing myself again. Oh my gosh, I guess this is what's wrong with me, right? Okay, the book is actually showing you your shadow that needs to be healed. And this is the reoccurring process of all of our expansion. We can apply this to social media too. I'm posting all of the time and nothing is happening. What shadow is that bringing up for me? Can I really reflect on that? Can I really refine that so that I'm not giving it power? Either it has you or you have it. I have it. So, yeah, this is bringing up something. Okay. I see that, maybe there's this part of me that feels like I don't know, maybe it's the feeling of, what if I don't make it work? Like, what if I'm the problem? What if I can't do this? I invite you to lead yourself. Okay, I invite you to lead yourself, to look at those things and not be afraid to look at them, because when you start to actually presence them, the job of your expansion gets a hell of a lot easier because you know what you have to do. It becomes very clear. I've had many experiences like this where, I went through a period of entrepreneurship where I was getting hurt a lot. And I was feeling a lot of rejection, and I was feeling a lot of blame, and I was feeling a lot of anger and regret and disappointment and doubt. And all these emotions were coming into my field. And I was like, you know what? I have to change. I have to change. I have to change my actions and my behaviors. I have to change my perspectives and the way I talk to myself. I have to change what I allow, how I use the word yes and how I use the word no. I have to change those things. And that initiation was one of the greatest gifts to get me where I am today. So when you have these experiences that are hard, and when you have these experiences that are heavy as an entrepreneur, because they will happen. They're part of the process. Cyclical nature. There's always a winter. When it happens, recognize what it is here for. It's not a hindrance. It's not to show you how terrible you are, or how incapable you are, or how hard things are supposed to be for you. It is inviting you to do something different. It's inviting you to do something different. So right now in this moment, because I love to honor our bodies and take a minute and just reset and, stretch and feel, before we come back in for our part 2 of this component, I would just like to play one song that invites you guys to stretch, to get up, to expand, but to journal a little bit on some key points, or to maybe look at your notebook and highlight the things that came through, and just take a minute to sit with anything that we talked about, that you felt something when it was said in some capacity. Let's capture it before we move forward. Does that sound good for everybody? Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to play. What do I want to play? I want you to be able to be with your journal. I don't want you to be distracted by sound. So I'm going to play something soft, if that's okay with you guys. Let's see if I have. Yeah. It's perfect. You find a good song. It's just the best. Okay. So we're going to play this here. Take a moment to reflect. And even if you would like to use the chat, I am going to take this time to respond to chat too. So for any of you who were typing, I'm going to come back. But let's reflect and claim it. And I'll see you guys in 4 minutes. I hope you enjoyed that little moment. Yeah. Let me make sure my camera's off. Okay. Hi. Hello, hello. My screen has shifted. It's changed. We're in a new timeline. Yeah, so Luna shared something really beautiful in the comments that I want to honor. I was reading through everything you guys were saying to make sure like what I'm offering is the transmission and code of what you guys truly need in this moment. And Luna's share just made my heart go, oh my gosh, I love this. I love this so much for so many different reasons. First of all, how brave to be able to say and speak and name that. You know, that takes a lot of courage to sit with another sister and go, hey, I'm going to tell you this. You know, I don't know what you're going to do with it, but I'm going to tell you this. And that's amazing to be able to express that and feel safe to do that. Set and setting play a role in all of that, of course. Sometimes we know there's not really a good time to tell somebody something. I've been there. I used to be, I override that because I just got to say it. But when I create spaces, especially in environments like this and in mentorship and many other different things, I feel like it is my job to make sure you feel safe, you know, and there's a lot of paradigm of this when it comes to leadership that's full of some distortions. I've been seeing it a lot, mostly taught by men, sometimes by women too. They'll say things like, there's no such thing as a safe space, right? Like I've seen that, you know, and what they're trying to say is safety comes from within. Safety does come from within, from your body, to be able to be the type of person who says, I feel safe to say no. I feel safe to say yes. I feel safe to speak truth. I feel safe to walk away. I feel safe. Like part of that is a cultivation of self. Absolutely. But set and setting do play a role, and the environment you hold, you know, being a hollow bone sometimes as you grow, stretch, and expand isn't easy. You get people who, you know, I could tell Luna, if you said that to me, maybe my second year of business, that would be very hard for me, you know, to receive that information. And now today when I see that, I go, that's so beautiful for you. That's so beautiful for you, right? Like how amazing. The thing I used to always be afraid of was triggering people. Like I had a really deep fear of that. I didn't want to trigger somebody because why? Because I don't want them to be hurt, but also because I don't want to feel like I hurt someone. Those are two different things. You understand? We say, I don't want somebody to be hurt. Yes, of course. I don't want to feel like I hurt someone, what that does to my body, what that makes me feel, right? So I would avoid a lot. I wouldn't say the things I wanted to say on the internet. I wouldn't come out of the spiritual closet. I wouldn't say no to a client that wanted to work with me or put up a boundary when a client was crossing a boundary. I didn't want to feel like I hurt someone. And I want you to think about that in your life as it applies. I know this is kind of a detour of what Luna said and it's opening up this other piece, but like, you know, really think about your expression and think about how, what you're, if that is something you resonate with, the fear of triggering somebody, can you relate to the fact that it's your body's experience that you are trying to avoid having? It's what that does to your body when that experience comes in. So it's what you're really saying is my body doesn't feel strong. My body doesn't feel strong enough yet to handle those things, right? And the way that we develop strength is in experiences like what Luna just offered, one small thing at a time. I'm going to speak something that's uncomfortable. I'm going to post something that makes me feel a little bit nervous. I'm going to try something new that's kind of an edge. I'm going to say that thing I'm afraid to say. Little by little by little, we start to realize, wow, this is me. I'm just me. I'm just me. You know, so thank you for that. And as you are just you, like this is a loving moment to say, I love you, I see you, I celebrate you. Like, celebrate the shit out of you. It's so cool. Look how far you've come. Like, that's, and us both, you know, but like, look how far you've come. Like, that's amazing. And there were also versions of me in that time where I'm like, I understand why I was triggering you, girl. Like, I get it. I was waving around all my money and my success, like, look at me, look at me, look at me, you know? And there was a part of that that was my ego that was still there, right? But I can have such compassion for that and such appreciation for that, because had she not had those experiences, I would not be here today. I had to dance in my edges. I had to be uncomfortable, stretching myself outside my comfort zone. Think of your teenage years. They're called awkward for a reason, right? Like, that is a part of our process as we grow into this version of ourselves. So you can do things that maybe 7 years from now, you're going to be like, whoa, I can't believe I did that. And that's okay. You know, it's okay to have that growth. It's actually, that's the point. But in order to do that, we do have to feel and develop a sense of safety. Safety in our body, safety to be who we are, safety to feel, safety to express, safety to be, safety to be. So right now, what are you being in your life? What are you being? Are you being anxious? Are you being hard on yourself? Are you being gentle? Are you being compassionate? Are you being empowering? Are you being loving? And think back to that version of that outcome you wanted, that physical thing. Are you, when you see it, makes you feel excited? Are you being excited now? I'm being peaceful. Are you being peaceful now? And do you know how to feel that feeling in your body? Because an embodied entrepreneur and an embodied leader will understand that the way in which she shows up on social media with her online marketing and her content must prioritize those codes. It must. If I know that this higher self feels a certain thing, I'm going to admit this other sister into the room. Welcome. My higher self feels a certain thing. That physical thing I want is a feeling. Okay. I need to be that way. Sure. I got that. But my relationship with social media has to be that way too. My relationship with my clients has to be that way too. My relationship with my family has to be that way too. All the things I relate to. You remember we started to talk about that? What we relate to, we relate to, and what it makes us feel in our bodies. How do you relate to social media? What does it make you feel in your body? Frustrated, angry, annoyed, stressed, pressured, worried. Sometimes it's cute dogs, funny dancing videos, and it makes you feel nothing. But you laugh sometimes. It's cool. You know, it's a numbing agent. It can be. Technology, social media, it can be whatever you want it to be. It can be a source of pain. It can be a constant shadow illumination over and over, like a black mirror. Literally, your phone, you close it, you shut it off, it's a black mirror. It can be. You have a bad day, you open up your phone, you're not inspired to create anything, but yet everybody pisses you off, right? You're scrolling through your social media and everything's annoying you because it's showing you something and it's confrontational. It feels, but then it has you and then you freeze and you can't create. Okay. Relate? Yes. Understand? Had those experiences before? Sure. Okay. So if this version of you that you're becoming is excited, this version of you is abundant, this version of you is peaceful, you have to feel safe to build your business that way too, to infuse those codes into what it is you're doing, and to rewrite and rewire anything that's stopping you from those codes. So if you don't remember, this would be a really good time right now in this study to write down the emotions that you became aware of when we were doing those things, and just really start to dig. Like, where do I not feel that way in my business? Where do I not feel that way with clients? Where do I not feel that way in what I'm creating? Because that's my clean up time. If you've ever heard a lot of personal development teachers talk about decision, you just got to decide. You just got to decide. Decide in Latin means to cut off. So when you're making decisions, you are supposed to be cutting off the other things. So you have to be aware of what the feeling is you want, how to feel it in your body, how to look at your business and cut off any of those other things that are not actually what you want to feel. And you have to practice feeling that feeling. Practice feeling that feeling. So you can identify it and know what it is and what is not. So what I would like us to do now is practice that feeling together, if we can, and just take a minute with our eyes closed. And maybe if it's okay with you guys, I can play my Shruti box and just kind of do a little thing, and we can see where we go, and just hold that space for you to just be with the energy of what you're trying to feel. And notice where like you go into your mind and bring yourself back to the body. This is a practice of noticing how you can do it within yourself. And also we will talk about what comes up and what you feel after. So don't overanalyze it. Just give yourself the experience to feel that feeling. Okay? So where we go, I don't know, but we will have fun. Okay. So maybe just find like a comfortable, some way of finding comfort in your body. We all want comfortable lives, but can we feel comfort in our body? Is that something that you're familiar with, that you spend time with, that you work with? And in your mind, maybe think about that higher self. Think about what you desire as if it has already arrived. Experience the emotion. Notice where it is in your body right now. And visualize making your life more and more of that energy. And when you feel constraint, say yes. And come back to your heart. Heart knows. Taking a deep breath into the body, and an exhale, leaning into more. In the heart, in the heart, in the heart I see. Taking a deep inhale, solidifying that feeling in the body. And a final exhale to arrive and bring it back with you. Just taking your time, but when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So, let's observe. What do you feel? What did you feel in your body? Did you also, were you here? That can happen too, right? Maybe you can share if you feel like there's something that you feel that you can notice. Quiet. Yeah, fear, Ananda says. Yeah, so my body, that's a beautiful thing, right? You can never do these experiences wrong. So when Ananda says I felt fear, that's a beautiful diagnosis of the body. My body right now is holding on to a lot of fear. Okay, start there. How do you release fear from the body? That's all you have to do to get where you want to be right now. It's so clear. Gigi says tension, right? So that's a beautiful diagnosis. Now we know what's going on. I have a lot of tension. What's going on between the body and the mind here, right? Tension in your personal lives, tension in your relationships. Is there tension in different parts of you that are battling within each other? Is there tension because you're controlling something and you want to let go of it and you can't? Start there. That's your study. And all of these things, when we observe, right, and we see like what it starts to bring up, when we just take a minute with the body, right, we can see where we are. We can be aware of like what's here right now. And it's not a diagnosis from this place of like, this is how my body is. It's a place of awareness of the present moment right here and now. Tension can often mean I haven't been expressing myself lately and my needs for rest and I'm overworked. Sometimes it's the feeling of, like Dana said, it was difficult for her to get into her body and she feels super sleepy, right? Okay, why is it difficult for you to get into your body? Have you been making time for your body lately? Are you getting proper time with your body, right? Because the body, the reason all this is important to business, right? Because I know this is all about entrepreneurial journey too. You know, the body is what holds your capacity for things. And you will suppress that big, beautiful, amazing house you want, or the beachfront property, or the Instagram followers that you want, or anything, money. You're going to suppress all of that outside of you if the body doesn't have capacity. And there are seasons of our life where we don't, because life is busy. There are times in my world where even my hormone cycle adjusts my capacity on a 25-day rhythm, right? I have to be aware of that. It's not about arriving in perfect. It's about arriving in understanding to continue to be an advocate always, because the body is what holds a code, right? Like When I sing and use the Shruti box and I do that thing, I hope the audio was okay. Sometimes it's a little bit hard for me to discern. But when I do that, there's something that happens for me that might be a good translation for you. I'm more like listening to, like, if I hear something, like that's how my leadership works in my channel. I like listen, but I also feel things in my body when I'm doing that. And I can change my voice, the way that things switch in my voice. It's actually like because I'm really getting out of the way. And when I look at that and I layer it onto my entrepreneurial path, it's the same process of understanding. It's, I'm listening. I'm listening, cool, paying attention. Like, what is spirit telling me to create, and what is feeling exciting, and what are the synchronicities? And, that's cool. Like, I'm listening to all of that. But then I'm also listening to my body where I'm like, okay, where am I tight? Where am I clenched? Like that idea, oh my God, that idea does not feel good in my body. I don't know why it doesn't feel good. That I'm really pulled to that. That's really exciting, right? So everything that I've built in my business from day one, foundation was following those codes. I wasn't always great at it, and trusting it and listening to it and allowing it. And it didn't always reap the rewards the way that it does now, because I learned how to cultivate it so deeply. And to be an entrepreneur and a leader, you do have to pivot and change and do new things and get uncomfortable and be outside of a comfort zone that you were once familiar with. But it can feel safe in your nervous system, and it can feel like you're grounded and calm. Those things are possible. You do not have to choose. You can actually find a way to say, hey, I have a lot of fear in my body, and I'm also really terrified of building my business, but like, can I rewrite that in a way that doesn't force me to blast my nervous system out? I don't want to take massive action. I don't want to push myself. I don't want to all of a sudden go really, really hard. I can't do that. My body's not available for that deep of a big pivot. So what is my body available for? And repair is a big part of that. Having worked with entrepreneurs for the last decade, the biggest disappointment to me is when I work with students who have come into mentorship, who have worked in other places, and they've hired other coaches and they've spent a lot of money, and their nervous systems are incredibly dysregulated. They have no sense of self-trust because they've been stripped away, because they've been told what to do and how to do it. They've been relying on certain systems and automations that actually feel attracting to them and don't feel expansive to them. They've been limiting themselves because now they've been conditioned to believe that they are a one-size-fits-all solution for whatever type of ideal client market they want to work with. And they are now disconnected from their body. And it makes me really sad. It brings up a lot of emotion in my body, because what I said before in the beginning of this call, I meant it. You are all leaders. You are all leaders. And I know that because you have taken time to be here. You have shown up for this in so many different ways. This moment is not the only one. So, yeah, it makes me sad when I hear that that's a common occurrence for women, to like lose their sense of body connection, because the body does hold the codes for wealth. It holds the codes for the prosperity that you want to open up to, but you have to be aligned with what is in your body so you can go, yes, and open and birth that higher self with presence and breath and feeling grounded, just like a mother does, to birth that higher self, to birth that beach house, to birth that bank account, to birth whatever it is. And there's always going to be a birth. Like if you look at, this is why I played that song, Mama, I Can Hear Her Calling Me, because we are the universe and earth. We're the universe wrapped in skin, essentially, as people. We are the universe wrapped in skin. It's the best way to put it. Our hair grows like vines. Our lungs look like trees. Our body's 90% water or some shit like that, you know? We all have a fire. Like, I'm sure you guys understand your own fire. We have all these elements. And if you look at nature as this example, there's always this death and rebirth and this regeneration that kind of moves through the field. And we have to see our businesses as that same cyclical fashion. So this is why breaking out of the need to know right or wrong, success, failure, good or bad, breaking out of that is so important, because then it allows you to be in the movement of this instead of the movement of this, right? So we have to come into this. So to kind of recap for you guys, like this point, just so you can understand and maybe apply, because I know you're all nodding your head and I'm like, okay, let's anchor it in just a little bit more. Be honest with yourself about, first and foremost, where you are not leaning into cycle. This is one of the things I teach inside Mirror Mentorship, where we learn how to identify our cyclical fashion, our nature as a creator, to say, I have winter seasons, I have spring seasons, I have summer seasons, I have fall seasons, and I let myself be in those seasons. That can apply to your bank account. Winter is a winter. And if Tony Robbins can be on stage and talk about the financial markets and say, winter is coming, there is always a winter. If it exists on that level, it certainly exists on the micro level of our finances as well. There are seasons. It's not the same all the time. You have to be okay with that. And you have to put yourself in positions to protect yourself, to feel safe, to feel supported. I can, where I live right now in my reality, I can make $5,000 and I can make $0 in a month, and I would be fine in my nervous system. And that's with a team. That's with all of my financial expenses. I could probably go a few months like that and feel fine. Then I would probably make a change. But I'm not afraid. And I want you so bad to be in a place where you feel that way, because it's fucking liberating, and it allows you the opportunity to move how you want to move and do what you want to do. But you have to be an advocate for your wellness. You have to put boundary up. It's very disheartening in, I would say in the online space, there are a lot of really incredible people, like so many incredible people. And there's also a lot that's not being spoken about. There's a lot that's not being spoken about, like how women who make millions of dollars have expenses that make them spend just under $1 million every year. That's not safe. And that happens a lot. It happens a lot. And then there's women on the other side of the spectrum who spend exorbitant amounts of money over and over again, and they're not moving the way that they want to move. And they feel incredibly unstable because of that. Your investments should make you feel stable. They should make you feel held. They should make you feel like you're making a right decision, to feel supported, and that you stand behind that choice. And when you don't want to do something because it doesn't align with you anymore, you want to change directions in your business, you want to shift gears, you want to try something new, you should have the liberation from money to like not feel the things that you are feeling. I know you're feeling them, right? We have that oppression around money, where money makes us do things. And our job as embodied spiritual entrepreneurs is to get to a place where slowly over time we unravel from that control that money has had on us, to find a place where our choices don't always have to do with money. Sometimes our choices are for our wellness and for our health and for our vitality and our well-being. And we deserve to invest in things that support that. Yeah, held was my word this year. Working to align all so it holds me. Yeah, we have a call in a couple of days, right? Is that, Yeah, I'm very excited to chat with you. Faith has a discovery call for the mentorship. So so let's kind of cover some of the strategic stuff if we can. Does that feel nourishing and supportive for you guys? We've covered a lot of the emotion. I think for the remainder of the call, we can talk about strategy and some tips here to help you feel a little bit more supported and centered. So, my Instagram is always teaching me so much. Is always teaching me so much. And I just recently went through a season where I really recognized that like this new version of me that I wanted to become needed to show up in business a different way, which caused me a great pause and freeze in my creative channel. And I was like, oh my God, now what do I do? You know, and we all have those experiences as we're evolving where we pause, but those pauses are important to have. And so this is just something I want you to understand as a spiritual embodied leader. Leaders make people wait. They do. Leaders make people wait. And I don't mean that in an egoic way, right? I mean it in just a beautiful way. Ram Dass, I don't know why he keeps coming up tonight. I love that man. But he would, he would come into a room and he would just, okay, you know? Yeah. So let's understand that, like, sometimes leadership is really about your energy. And if you have to pause from showing up on social media to fortify that, you should. It's very, very important. So please stop judging yourself whenever you take a pause. I'm blessed that my pauses are a little bit different because I do have a team. I have the ability, but I also have a skill set in repurposing content when my channel is weak, when I'm in luteal phase, when I'm tired, when I'm feeling like I don't really want to say anything new because my channel is refining itself. I have an amazing way to repurpose things and repurpose them in a different way where the old version of me can come to continuously support me as I'm integrating and embodying to become the higher self while I'm working with my inner child who's freaking out in the corner, you know? So like it's so funny. We orchestrate all these different versions of ourselves that we need to like hold okay, guys, we're going on a boat ride. Let's hold the ship. It's something that happens. But anyway, strategically, it's very important to design your business to have seasons and to have space. You should have winters. You should, in my opinion, okay? You should be able to step away from your business and have it be operating and not have to have you in it all the time. You need to have boundaries. It's very, very hard to do in the beginning. It's hard to do in the beginning because you know that any time you spend on the business is a learning time. It's a learning experience. So the more you learn, the better you will get. If you want to learn how to play the guitar and you play it for 1 hour a day versus the person who's playing 7 hours a day, who do you think is going to be the better guitar player? There's no question, right? But is being better the most important thing to you? No. Can you build your business from a place of recognizing that you are the most important thing to you? Yes. And if you did, what would be different about everything I just said? If you recognize that being the best version of you says, you know what? You have been avoiding, and from now on, we're going to go to the coffee shop every Saturday, and we are going to do this thing that you have been avoiding. If that's the better version of you, that's really the decision. If you feel that, you have to discern. You have to discern and know in your body what is what. But if you're aware and you're like, 4 hours was enough today. Like, I don't need to be doing more, right? I'm at my capacity. This is now hijacking other areas of my life. This is actually preventing me from being who I want to be. This is affecting my marriage. That's not okay. That's not okay. I'm never going to be the coach that's going to tell you how to make a lot of money and not acknowledge all of the other things I just said. That is such a mistake, So when you're growing your business, that's really the priority. Yes, it's the more time you spend on something, it's that simple. The more time you spend on something, the faster you're going to figure out and the better you're going to be at it. Okay. But now that I know that, what season am I in? Am I in a winter season? Do I need rest right now? Is my body are we reorchestrating? Am I in a season where like winter was just over and now things are slowly starting to come up, but everything's really tender and soft and it moves slow? Maybe is that how I have to move? Okay, then that's what I'm going to do. Or what about when spring is happening and it's like you walk out of your house the next day and everything's growing so much faster and you can't believe it. It's just wild. How you show up and how much time you put into your business might be different in that season. And so these seasons, they work on a structural level, but they also work on an emotional level too. You are going to find in your interpersonal relationships, there are seasons where we're talking so much about this. I hope this is helpful. It's just coming through and I feel like it's important. You're going to go through seasons with other people that you're working with where you realize that you are in a winter season, but you have so many one-on-one clients. Oh my God, how do I meet my emotional needs for rest when my schedule is full, right? Because you can adjust how you show up on Instagram whenever you want. You can adjust that. It's beautiful. But for some things, like serving clients, if you're not prepared, it can be a little challenging. So we also have to be aware of what we can hold. Like what can we hold? And also like what has to change for you in your life to be able to hold more? I can tell you for me, like one of the simplest things that made a difference for me was walking 10,000 steps a day. That left to right frequency for me took a lot of the shit that I was distorted by and just cleared it, right? Made me more clear. So when I was more clear, I could hold more wealth, more clients, da 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 da. Another big thing for me is boundaries. When you work with clients, you need to have boundaries. Blocking your time is also a really important thing too. It was 10,000 steps a day, but blocking your time is really good too. I have so much, there's so much on here. I don't want to I want to keep going so bad. And I want to also make sure that I'm honoring the depth of the Mirror Mentorship students too, and just wanting to create some balance on the study. So, and also continue to include the things that are important here. So coming back to the more higher approach without going deep down into it, when we are acknowledging our seasons, we're making small changes in our life to our lifestyle to hold more capacity, eating well. Oh my gosh. Like one thing about this that we're all talking about longevity for the body and like feeling good for the body. But also like when you eat non-life-giving foods, that has a frequency to it. And when you eat life-giving foods, that has a frequency to it. And I'm the first one to tell you, like I eat a good amount in certain seasons of my life, non-life-giving foods. But then I feel really heavy and I feel really tired and I feel really foggy. Over time, if I do that too much, it builds up and it affects my channel and it prevents me from feeling really, really clear. So I have to change that. I have to make that change. If I want to create more wealth, if I want to serve more people, if I want to really build my legacy, I have to do as much as I can to just be in the highest vibration for myself. I owe that to myself, or else my work is going to kill me. And we need to remember that. I come from two lineages where both of my grandfathers died at very young ages from very serious heart issues because they were carrying all of the work. They didn't eat any different than my grandmother does. They ate all the same foods. Their bodies couldn't handle it. It was too much. And that expectation on yourself, I just want to speak to it so you exhale. You know, like From that place, you develop sovereignty, you develop autonomy, you develop self-trust. Those three things are the foundation for creating any successful business. Sovereignty, autonomy, self-trust. Study them, know them deeply. So when you create content, the content that's going to perform the best is always the content that soul yes feelings are activated for in some capacity. This is really funny. I want to make this. Totally applies. This is something I heard that really is speaking to me. I'm going to share this. This is something I'm feeling right now that feels so fucking alive for me. I can't stop myself. I have to say it. That works too. This vulnerable share that I'm reflecting on that's making my heart open towards myself, that's good content. This lesson that I'm noticing that keeps coming up for everybody in my life or for myself or for my friend, I gotta speak about that. Do you notice how all those things is like you're being a conduit to something? You're letting something move through you. So if we can create content like that, we get out of the way. Our job is just to facilitate that. That's being an embodied leader. Because what is above us that's making all of that happen for all of us at once? That code needs leaders. That code needs people to say, do it your way, do it your way, do it your way, do it your way. It's all different for all of us. That's why everybody's so different and everybody's so unique, and no one formulation of Instagram strategy works for everybody. Do it your way, do it your way, do it your way. But you have to feel safe to discover what that is. You have to be patient with yourself to discover what that is. And you have to be with yourself enough to discover what that is. So I'm going to invite you guys into a little bit of like a opportunity space. I kind of want to have fun with this, so I got to see how do I want to do this? Because I know we have half an hour left, and I want to make sure that all of you guys feel nourished and supported, and you walk away from this with value. Yeah, so what feels alive for me, we're gonna do it this way. I'm going to take a minute to share just some details about my mentorship with you guys, because I know some of you guys have calls with me already booked, and I think it would be really good for me to speak to the way that I mentor, and not from a place of trying to get you to sign up for the Mirror Mentorship. If you want to, that's amazing. We'll have a discovery call, see if it's a good fit. But because I would like to invite you into learning about how I mentor, so that maybe it inspires you to mentor in a certain way. You know, make changes for yourself in some capacity, or take something where you're like, oh, I like the way that was said. I think I'm going to work with that. It's important because when I found my mentor, I learned so much from him. I continue to learn so much from him. He's one of my dearest friends. And the dynamic of our mentorship has created of something very unique in me, because it's almost like his lineage of how he's mentored me feels like it's being passed down to me, like the way in which I speak, or like the things I say, or the lessons he taught me. I share them all. And I really believe that when you're mentoring properly, you don't really give a shit about what anybody does with what you say. You hope they spread it. Go ahead, take it, take it and say it how you want to say it. And I believe in that. I believe in that because as I feel empowered with the words and wisdom that my teacher shared, I would hope to think that something I said tonight empowered you. And however you use it is great. However it translates for you, because we're all going to do it differently. So spread whatever is alive. That's the first thing. Working with a mentor for me was huge because it gave me the opportunity to see certain paradigms of perspective that changed how I felt in my body. when he mirrored to me, when he pointed things out about my own personal patterns or ways in which I was thinking, or the wounds that were manifesting, and tracking them. And tracking is a big part of my work. This is coming up. Why is this coming up? Okay, well, where does that come from? What do we tie it to? What's the source? Oh, it's here. This is why it's here. Now what do we do with that? And how do we move that? And so his mirroring to me, as I continued to see myself over and over and over again, my reflection changed, quite literally, right? I became a very different person because of his work, because every time I was sharing what was really going on internally with somebody, to be like, this is what I'm navigating, this is what's happening, it's here, it's here, it's here. And him, from his experience, he could weave, bridge, connect, and bring me into direction. I was still walking my own path. He never once told me what to do. But it was through that mirroring that I started to actually discover my knowing of what to do. And that's how I mentor now today. Right? My work is not about telling anybody what to do, because your empowerment journey is about remember that you already know, and to guide you through the times when you don't, and to help you in navigating having those ideas arrive earlier, and to share strategies that work for me, and to also allow you to do whatever you want with them. Mentors are not supposed to fix problems. They're supposed to have you remember that you know what you're doing, and you're safe and you're held to become that next part of you that continues to be mirrored to you, refined through the mirror. So Mirror Mentorship is my space for that. It is an offering that combines conscious creator course study with mentorship in Mirror. And the mentorship is 3 calls each month. There's also a bonus call where all of the students can come to mastermind each month, and sisters can take turns sharing their gifts so that you could be mirrored to. You come on to read oracle cards or give a training about your work or share your medicine and facilitation, and the sisters can mirror the beauty that they see, and it helps you feel safe to be seen and to cultivate translation of your work, which is often missed. Now, when it comes to entrepreneurship, a big part of my mentorship as a projector 6'2", I notice that I get a lot of people with many, many different ideas and no clear form of execution. So I always offer my channel to them. This is what I see. This is what you could be doing. This is the direction I would probably move through if I were you. And your job is to see all those downloads and notice what they feel in your body and move through them the way that you want. But for me, mentorship is a safe space to actually become. It's not about the business. So Conscious Creators available for that. In addition, it's a bonus of 47 modules of business strategy trainings that don't exist anywhere else. And then we have the Mirror Mentorship. So when I mentor, this part that's important for you, I don't make it my job to get somebody an outcome. And I think this is something that can make people feel a little bit hesitant to work with students one-on-one. I know some of you sisters and I have spoken about that before. Like, you don't want to be responsible for people in that way, but you do want to help them. And how do we figure out how to help people without being a savior or playing the martyr or being a rescuer in that paradigm? Oftentimes when we come to the journey of mentorship or any type of facilitation of work, we're doing it because we were once a victim and those modalities rescued us, right? They rescued us. They changed our life. That's why we become advocates of them. And the facilitation that we offer in the world at whatever capacity, it could be the things you believe, right? Those things saved you, or this modality saved you, or this. Anyway, we're offering it up because in some way we're trying to pay homage to the old versions of ourselves, but we unconsciously continue the paradigm. Who do I need to rescue? I'm going to rescue. I'm going to rescue. I'm going to rescue. This has to stop. And in order for this to stop, we have to really unravel the patterns of codependency, the patterns of people pleasing, the patterns of putting too much pressure on ourselves, the patterns of not enoughness. And we need to be able to come into a place where we can actually be facilitators who empower the other person on the other side and really stand in our gift to be in our medicine. Because if you're worrying about getting somebody a result, you're not in your medicine. If you're worried about how you look or what somebody else thinks, you're not in your medicine. So unraveling that is a very, very important thing. So if that calls you, that's my final mention. The Mirror Mentorship is closing doors on the 29th, and there are discovery calls available on the website. So you can go to laurenoflove.com/mirror if you would like to read those details. Okay. But I don't like to spend a lot of time on that. I would also love to do Q&A with you guys for the last 15 minutes. And I would love for it to be potent and effective. So what I'm going to do is just play one song. And this would be the time, like if you don't have any question, you can sit to find curiosities in what other people are asking. You can journal and just take notes of some of the things that we talked about. Or you can see someone's question inspire you to ask a different one that you didn't know was there. So one song. And then we will come back and actually answer all these questions. And we'll just do 10 minutes. So this quick question moment, we'll just play a song for 2 minutes so you guys can ask. Think about what you want to know.
I'm gonna reclaim my power. I'm taking back all of me. I'm gonna love myself, my beauty, my energy. I'm reclaiming all my strength now. I'm gonna forgive all the times I was afraid and stayed and played the game between the lines. Oh, I put my claim on it right there. I put my name on it right there, right there. I put my claim on it right there. I put my name on it right there, right there. I'm giving myself permission so I can release my hurt. I'm giving up all the times I did not put my feelings first. I'm reclaiming all my magic so I could bring all of me. I'm gonna reclaim my body and my sexuality. I put my claim on it right there. I put my name on it right there, right there. I put my claim on it right there. I put my name on it right there, right there. I am worthy. I am powerful. I am worthy. I am powerful. Yeah. I'm gonna take back my power. I'm reclaiming all of me. I'm gonna use my voice, my love, and my sovereignty. I'm taking back all the parts I did not want to give away. I'm gonna love myself, my beauty, my energy. I put my claim on it right there. I put my name on it right there, right there. I put my claim on it right there. I put my name on it right there, right there.
Okay. Oh, I'm talking and I didn't have the microphone on me. Yeah, I was watching the chat. I'm like, you guys. Okay, so we'll start with Dana and we'll see what opens up. These days, it's easy for me to get stuck in fear and holding back. Do you have any idea how to move this energy? Yeah. So the the first thing that I notice is I'm always trying to like make it stop, right? Like I'm trying to figure out a way to make that stop. And what's that? Being stuck in fear. I want to make being stuck in fear stop. And that is a really big problem to have, because what ends up happening for a lot of people is they just feel more stuck. I don't know if you can relate or have that experience. You know, you're trying to get out of something, but you're actually looping in it with your thought pattern. It's a very common experience, and I would find myself in that for a long time. I've now figured out a way to break out of it, which I'll talk about. So I'm really glad you asked this question. It's very important because there are winter cycles, but then there's also stuck in fear. And how do you discern between which is which, you know, in your body and in your life? Am I in a winter season, or am I just stuck in a fear pattern? And, you know, winter should feel peaceful, but oftentimes winter does bring up fear also. So there's like a lot of, you know, feel confusion in this whole experience, if we can just acknowledge that. So I think the first thing is to recognize the awareness that fear lives in my body, right? Fear is living in my body, and fear is very loud right now, and it's hijacking. It's hijacking because not only is it affecting my body, but it's also now moving me into a place where I'm just feeling fear in my thoughts, and that fear in my thoughts is actually bringing more fear into my body. So now I'm in this crazy 8 cycle of that energy just moving around and around over and over again, and I can't step out of it. So stepping out of it is a process of learning to first recognize that fear is going to be there as long as it's supposed to be. Fear is going to be there as long as it's supposed to be. Fear is not a bad emotion. It's not a bad emotion. It is a teacher. So like, what is this teaching me, right? Understand what you want to get rid of. You have to understand, like a child. When a child comes to you screaming and crying and being sad, and you go, it's fine. Don't worry. Just stop. Toughen up. Don't feel that way. We all know how that goes. We've all had experiences where we understand that doesn't really work. But when you meet the child, what's going on? That's hard. Yeah, that's a hard feeling. It's okay to have hard feelings, right? We have to meet our same way, right? Same way. So when you're feeling a fear and it's making you stuck, you can identify that that's also affecting your movement. It's affecting your action. It's affecting your pattern of habit. So the question to move it is, what do I do that makes me feel empowered? This is what I call cross-referencing energetic medicine. Well, the camera's doing weird things to support me. Cross-referencing medicine is when you study an emotion that's there and you ask yourself, what is the medicine for that? You know, for some of us, when we feel fear, the medicine of it is joy. You know, the more joy we feel, the less afraid we feel. For some, when we feel fear, the medicine is empowerment. When we feel empowered, we feel less fear. When we're in a state of feeling fear and we want to heal it, and we say, okay, like, what is the medicine that's going to actually start moving this energy? Then we have our study. I was feeling a lot of fear recently. I'm going through a big shift and change in my business, and it's just bringing up emotions like a normal human being would. And I started walking on the walking pad every day, taking plants to support me in softening, right? Relying on the adaptogens, relying on lavender, relying on the spirit of the rose, right? Bringing in a little bit more of that nourishment into my body. I also started creating more structure in my life, because I realized that fear was hijacking and I needed boundary. So I started to get more devoted in practices and say, okay, like, phone is down at 4 p.m. I'm going to spend an hour doing my practice. really diligent in the cultivation of whatever that emotion is. Even if it's fun, I'm signing up for rollerblading classes now. Like, that's what I'm doing. It can be like that. It doesn't have to be this like kumbaya spiritual sound bowl sage. I love that stuff, but not everybody, that's your medicine, right? So you got to understand how to work your field that way. It's also true that sometimes the fear is there because there's something new you're doing, and we need to learn to train ourselves to understand that it's okay to learn something new. So if the fear is teaching you that you are somebody who's afraid of doing it wrong, getting it wrong, the fear is teaching you that, deep down there's like a lack of self-trust, or maybe the fear that's the stuck pattern is showing you that there's a lot of wounding around something. If we could track it, if we could find what it is specifically, then you would have that answer to really know how to go a little bit deeper. So I would say for anybody who relates to this, apply your cross-reference medicine and just find the thing that's going to allow you to feel grounded. And for me, that's a lot of singing. That's a lot of singing, a lot of sound. I don't bring it into my digital world as much. It's in the Embodied and Expressed course, but that's really it, aside from our little moment here. But I sing a lot, and I let that medicine move through me. I find it to be really profound. So it takes as long as it takes, and find your medicine. Gigi asks, have you moved through a time maybe before a team when you had something to say online but not sure how to express it? I love social media, but at times I feel like what I have to say doesn't translate to the depth of what I mean. Yes, a lot. This is a very common problem for spiritual creatives as well, because we are here to provide depth. We are not here for surface level things. And I could tell you right now, part of what you're saying is I could feel a belief that social media doesn't have the capacity to hold you, right? And that's a common thing a lot of people feel. Social media doesn't have the capacity to hold me. It's not structured the way that I need it to be for me to feel safe to go deep. It's too formulaic, right? Some of that stuff is actually just belief and not really knowing a way of how to channel in a refined fashion so that it feels really potent with precision. Because we can look at that same paradigm and say, oh, social media is trying to make us become this like thing. And for me, I see it as like, no, social media is helping me refine my channel. It's helping me get really clear. It's helping me create, clarity and precision in my communication. Oh my gosh, what a gift, right? So we have to remember how we choose to see the world is how the world is. So we have to be really mindful of that. And then I would also say that when you have something to say and you're not sure how to express it, this can mean a couple of different things. It can be that season where maybe you can relate, you open up your phone. This is funny. My phone has been tracking, and when it hears your audio and it writes what you're saying I was doing that the whole time. So maybe you can relate to this. You have an idea to create some content, and you open up your phone and you open up the Instagram and you put like the video clip in, and then you like run away. Save it in draft. Like we do kind of half share, like little bit. I started it, now I'm going to go. I started, I'm going to go. We don't go fully into a creative expression. And I would say that cultivating, seeing it through, carrying it to completion, allowing it to arrive is so important. It's so important. And 80% is better than 100%. So we have to also recognize that the perfection of our channel is going to continuously be refined through the practice of using it over and over and over and over and over again. So say it even if you don't know how to express it. But if you find yourself in that pattern where you're opening up your phone and you're going to create it and you're getting foggy and it's not coming out clear and you feel like You don't really know, is it a talking head? Is it a, post? Is it a quote? Is this or that? You're not in your body. Ask the message how it wants to be communicated. Sit with your body and ask that. How does this message want to be communicated? Hear it, listen to it, trust it. Or how does my body want to communicate it? Finding those answers sometimes takes time, and we have to be patient with that too. Oh, Liam, your quote, thank you. That's so beautiful. Yeah, she was in my last round of mentorship. It's really so special to have you, Mama. So beautiful. Yeah. Oh, Luna decided she's going to take rollerblading. That's so special. Dawn says, sharing my, I want to do rollerblading. That's been actually coming up a lot lately. It's really interesting. I don't know why. It's so bizarre. This is like the fourth time I've talked about rollerblading in like a week. I, my higher self is telling me something. I'm going to post it for you guys. Guys, I did it. Went rollerblading. So Dawn says, sharing my voice, I get stuck on what to share and where to begin. Perfectionism takes over. Where do I start? So if you're starting your journey and you're kind of stuck on like where, because everything feels so overwhelming, crafting and telling your story is like one of the best places to begin. Instead of becoming an expert first and feeling like you have to tell people what to do and how to do it, or blast and celebrate how successful you are and how you have it all figured out. Like, if that doesn't feel real for you, then what's really great is to look at celebrating the things that you've overcome in your life, giving lessons to people who, the old version of you, what do you wish you knew? You can start with some of those thematic questions to really open up clarity. What does the world need right now can sometimes feel a little bit too vague, but sometimes that helps people who are in their channel. Documenting is great. I had a student in my mentorship a couple of years ago. She now works with me one-on-one, but she came into mentorship and she didn't know what to do. Her Instagram account was at like 400 people when she started. And I was like, look, can you try something? Can you just share a journey? Like, why don't you? She's like, yeah, I really want to go on this like 90-day reset for myself. Okay. Can you document that? And like her account blew up, so it's just, we have to be able to see like our life is the vessel. Our life is the human experience that we can offer. That's really, really important. So start with that. Okay, I know we have more questions or comments, but the last one, just to honor Luna, it's really helpful to hear what you shared about doing what we need to do for ourselves to expand. I notice I want to share to serve, so I have a dance practice and drop in with myself. I receive insight that I immediately want to share, and I feel the need to keep things to myself sometimes as it takes time for myself. Yeah, this is huge. So mentoring students, for me, this is a big part of it because you want to respect the channel. The channels where like a lot comes alive, and then we have this kind of instantaneous urgency where we want to immediately turn it around and put it out. I would invite you to say, there's no more room for urgency in my body. I do not allow urgency in my body. I do not allow it in my life. I do not allow it in how I relate to my business. And so your only urgent task is to care and attune to your body. That's the only thing in your life. If you have kids, that's different. I don't mean logistical, okay? So being able to create a workflow that doesn't hijack your life, that allows you to feel like you have time for you and time for the other things, is very, very important. And that's a big part of mentorship too. So in this call, I feel like I felt my mentorship channel be online in different capacities at different times for all of you. And I hope you felt that. I hope you feel like where you are is exactly where you're supposed to be, and that you're worthy of embodying the next things that you want in your life and stepping up and doing it with patience and grace and comfort and putting your body first for the life you want to live and design. So with that, we are going to close our call tonight. If you feel so kind and excited, I know there's 16 of you, so I want to do something special. And I was thinking about this. I would like to give one of you like a present. Like I want to go shopping and give a gift and like journal, magic, something. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. So as a little invitation, and maybe because I want to go shopping and I have everything I need, but I'm gonna offer this to you guys as a little invitation to all of you. If you watched the video tonight and you resonated with it, either this or the replay, I would ask you to take some sort of celebratory post onto Instagram stories or something. I think that feels good. And just share your takeaways or like what you're choosing in your life or embodying, like something to celebrate you, like watch this training tonight with Lauren and decided this. Like I want to hear your power. Even though I know sometimes people are like, tell me what you loved about this training. Like I don't, it's not about me. Like this is about you. So do something to celebrate yourself and tag me. And yeah, if you need to say how you felt about this, that's beautiful too. I welcome it. But tag me, and then I will reach out and in the email announce like one winner, maybe like tomorrow. Yeah, one winner tomorrow. I'll send you guys like a little announcement in the email. And if you're called to book a discovery call for the mirror, remember it closes on the 29th. So we're kind of in like the closing season. So you can book a discovery call on the website, and it's me. I have the discovery call with you guys for this space. So the calendar is open for the weekend and it's open for the next couple of days too. So any questions on that, you can let me know. I'm really open to getting on calls with people, even if you don't know if it's a good fit for you. I'm very detached and I don't push. And I want you to come to a decision that feels best in your body. Yeah, and that's it. Thank you guys. I love seeing Luna smile. All of you guys smile. Makes so happy. So thank you for being here. I love y'all and I hope to see you very, very soon in some capacity. Remember something from today, okay? Just one thing. One thing can be profound. Love y'all. Good night, Claudia. Good night, William. Good night, everybody. Bye, you guys. Bye.